All right, we have more infighting in the House of Representatives on the GOP side regarding the budget resolution. Just I shouldn't say resolution, just the whole budget thing in general right now. And I have two articles here, both from Axios, that I want to show you. We're going to start off with this one. A dozen House Republicans fire warning shot to Mike Johnson. Let's read. A dozen swing district and central House Republicans are warning Speaker Mike Johnson that they won't vote for a budget reconciliation package that cuts Medicaid too deeply. Too deeply. Oh my goodness. We shouldn't be cutting Medicaid at all. We should be expanding Medicaid. What are we talking about? If we're expanding the military budget and border security and all of that by hundreds of billions, you shouldn't be cutting Medicaid at all. I'm sorry. Like, is that such a crazy position? It puts Johnson in a vice as members of the right-wing House Freedom Caucus demand steep cuts to the health program for low-income individuals. The GOP's clash over how much to offset their planned $4 trillion in tax cuts was on full display last week as the Freedom Caucus rebelled over a Senate budget measure that mandated only $4 billion in cuts. The House had initially passed a budget resolution that would require $1.5 trillion in cuts, and that would likely reduce Medicaid funding. That's the thing. They can get away with this whole we ain't cutting Medicaid thing because they just outlined this preposterous number in the budget that needs to be cut. And if you simply do the math, there is no way. It is impossible, especially if you're increasing defense spending and not reducing it. It is impossible to not cut Medicaid. That is the point here. The 12 lawmakers wrote in a letter to Johnson and other GOP leaders that many of them represent districts with high rates of constituents who depend on Medicaid. Balancing the federal budget must not come at the expense of their health and economic security, they said in a letter, a copy of which was obtained by Axios. I never thought I would hear a dozen Republican lawmakers sign off on something of that. That's crazy. I give them a little bit of respect, just a teeny bit. The lawmakers issued an ultimatum. We cannot and will not support a final reconciliation bill that includes any reduction in Medicaid coverage for vulnerable populations. This is a list of all the Republicans that signed on. Johnson said in a statement that House Republicans will strengthen, sustain, and secure Medicaid so we can preserve it for the vulnerable American populations it was designed to serve. And he also paired this up with language of well, we have these people just sitting at home on the couch all day getting Medicaid. We're gonna make them work. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're saying we're not gonna cut Medicaid, but then you're saying there's these people who shouldn't have Medicaid. Spokesperson for the House and Energy and Commerce Committee said that Brett Guthrie, Republican from Kentucky, is working with a member across the House Republican Conference to that end. The letter was reported by Punchbowl News between the lines. While they are pushing against why they see as overly zealous benefit cuts, these moderate members aren't ruling out some Medicaid reforms as a way for paying for tax cuts. Loloda told Axios he is committing to responsible, compassionate Medicaid reforms that strengthen the program for Americans who truly need it. You don't strengthen Medicaid by cutting it. You can call it reform all you want, but that's just not how it works, dog. Sorry. Especially when it's already a system that's strained. These reforms will prioritize work requirements for able-bodied adults, ensure benefits go only to legal residents, and increase eligibility checks from once every 12 months to every 6 months to help prevent fraud and abuse. Yeah, this is exactly what they do. They won't. If they don't directly cut the program, they're going to increase the requirements for the program, make it very hard to stay on the program and get in the program in the first place. What they like to call and always hate on is bureaucracy. So, it's crazy how just dishonest these people are. I'm of the belief that we should scrap Medicaid and Medicare in a plan for Medicare for all, or, healthcare for all, a single payer system. Because there shouldn't be work requirements. There shouldn't be any health requirements that RFK suggested. There shouldn't be any requirements to you getting free and accessible healthcare. Healthcare is a human right. Sorry, call me a freaking radical. Even El Salvador has free healthcare. What are we talking about here? We are When I say, and when other leftists say, that we are one of the only countries in the world that don't guarantee free healthcare for all of its citizens, that's not hyperbolic. Here's another fun article from Axios that I figured I would tag onto this one. White House plan would eliminate Head Start, make sweeping health cuts. A Trump administration budget proposal calls for eliminating programs like Head Start, funding for community mental health clinics, and initiatives aimed at preventing teen pregnancy in fiscal 2026. The 64-page document called A Budget Passback reveals the breadth and deep extent to which the Trump administration is eyeing cuts to the federal health bureaucracy. The Office of Management and Budget document is just a proposal, but offers a preview of what President Trump's spending priorities are. Congress has the final say in how discretionary funds are allocated. The document was first reported by the Washington Post. You see, I would have so much more respect for Republicans across the aisle if they were actually principled in their stance for cutting government spending, because it's always cutting hundreds of billions of dollars to, I mean, we're looking at trillions at this point, to non-defense programs that actually help people, or just the unspoken good things that keep the government running, whether that be the FAA, whether that be the people who go out and test the air and water, the weather service. We already know that their weather balloon launches are now cut in half due to staffing and budget restraints. But once it comes to the increasing defense spending by hundreds of billions, there's not a peep. There's not a single peep. It's not even a conversation to not increase it, let alone cut it. That's crazy to me. And I would be a lot more sympathetic to your cause of cutting if you were actually principled in it. But you're not, unless you're actively speaking out against military expenditure increases. And if you actually cared about fraud, that'd be the first place you'd look, because they failed. Like, the Pentagon has failed the last, 10 audits, 12 audits? I don't even know how many. They can't account for 60 or 70% of their money. Insane. Absolutely insane. Where were we? The document was first reported by the Washington Post. The proposal calls for about $20 billion appropriated to a new agency within Health and Human Services called Administration for a Healthy America. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced last month that he planned to combine several existing agencies into this new entity. The document also requests $500 million to be allocated by the HHS Secretary for activities that support the administration's so-called Make America Healthy Again initiatives, per the document. In all, about $40 billion, or one-third of the HHS discretionary budget, would be cut under the proposal compared with fiscal 2024 levels. Yeah, cutting our Health and Human Services budget and all that fun stuff by a third, yeah, that's going to make us healthy. That's going to make us safer. Jesus Christ, man, this is exhausting. The document suggests eliminating programs for rural healthcare providers, HIV treatment efforts, healthcare workforce initiatives, and childhood lead poisoning. It does not say whether or how the work done by these programs would continue. Some offices that the document suggests could be eliminated, including the Administration for Preparedness and Response, have existing legal authorities, with officials confirmed by the Senate. No final funding decisions have been made yet, OMB Communications Director Rachel Colley told Axios. There had been earlier reports that Head Start, a storied program created as a part of President Johnson's war on poverty, was on the chopping block. That was an aim of Project 2025, ending the program, which provides early childhood education, nutrition, and healthcare help to nearly 800,000 kids and their families, would have catastrophic consequences for some of the poorest people in the U.S., with outsized impacts in rural communities. I had a very inspiring tour of a Head Start program, Kennedy said last month. I saw devoted staff and a lot of happy children. They are getting the kind of education and socialization they need, and they are also getting a couple meals a day. Yeah, that's all great and all, but fuck that shit, dog. Oh my goodness. I'm so tired at this point of just being gaslit about, we can't do good things because of the deficit, but we can still, we can cut all the existing good things that we do that are already strained and could provide so much good, but instead they're getting cut more in favor of increasing the defense budget by hundreds of billions, giving more money to the border and mass deportations. It's insanity, dude. I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I don't know what to say anymore. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.